So a really big moment for Clemson football, joined by Don Munson, voice of the Clemson Tigers and director of broadcasting. Don, a huge weekend for Clemson football. And now looking ahead to the college football playoff, that 12 seed heading to Texas. What do you make of their path to the college football championship?
I like their path, to be perfectly honest with you, Beth. I really do, because I don't think there's pressure on Clemson. I think the pressure is on Texas. They're the higher seed. They're at home. Their fans are expecting them to win. If Clemson can jump on them early, kind of like what they happened in the ACC championship game against SMU, then I would really like the Tigers' chances to advancing on and taking on Arizona State.
Well, what do you think is the most interesting part about this matchup when we talk about getting on the field? I know you haven't maybe dove in a ton on Texas yet, but your early knee-jerk reaction about this matchup between these two teams?
I think the biggest key for Clemson going into this against Texas is going to be Clemson's offensive line against the defensive front. And it's not just the front four, it's the back, it's the seven that are there. So the linebackers. How does Clemson's line operate against that? What is Texas going to do? Are they going to bring more than they can block? How much are they going to blitz Cade? Can Cade make the hot read, quick? I think that becomes the biggest key to everything.
A really big moment. You mentioned Cade Klubnik from Austin, Texas. Yeah. A really cool, fun storyline in all of this. Dabo Swinney talking about the fact that the only time he's been to see a game in Texas Memorial Stadium was to watch Cade Klubnik. A really cool, fun storyline that I'm interested to see play out. What do you make of that? I mean, I've been so impressed with Cade this year, just in how he's handled the emotions of everything. You can see the maturity in that aspect.
Yeah, so the prodigal son, the Texas Ranger, returns home, and he and Ewers are also, used to going against one another in high school. Cade got the better, as a matter of fact, of that matchup in high school. So let's hope he gets the better of it in Austin.
When you take a look at this college football playoff, you mentioned you like their path. They're that 12th seed. I think some people were maybe surprised. Other people saying, rightfully so. They had to get a bunch of things to fall their way to get into the playoff. Do those numbers matter to you when you see that sort of thing? Is that disrespect, or is that just a product of their path to this moment?
Yeah, that's just outside noise. I mean, that's just you got to have talking points. You got to have something to talk about, something to complain about if you want to get there.
Something to hammer away on Twitter,
yeah, something
right?
to hammer. That has nothing to do with it. And believe me, it'll be about players making plays. And it'll be about, Cade has to deliver footballs into much smaller windows in championship atmospheres. He had a taste of that, obviously, in Charlotte. He's been to Charlotte twice, came out an MVP. Something tells me he's going to perform pretty well in Austin.
I think another part when I look at this college football bracket, the big thing is SMU. First of all, them getting in, which was, in my opinion, somehow a conversation that they wouldn't make it, which seemed really silly to me because they were in the ACC championship essentially all season long. We're constantly in that conversation. But then to have them at 11, what do you make of that seeding and their path and what's ahead for SMU?
I think, one, that there's no doubt that they should have been in the college football playoffs. If you don't put them in, then there's what's the reason for having conference championship games? And I think you saw the committee kind of play with that as a whole, because Penn State lost, but really didn't drop that much, all right? And over in the SEC, obviously Texas loses, but really didn't drop that much. And so I think that they did give credence to people that were playing in championship games and came out on the losing end. Both those teams, all three of those teams got there for a reason, and all three of them deserve to be in a playoff.
You've been around college football a really long time. You have great access and a friendship with Dabo Swinney as well, and I always love to hear Dabo start to bring up topics and conversations, because something's coming down the road, because not just him, but coaches in general talk, and that's when we start to kind of see the barometer change on things. We've seen the four-team college football playoff happen, now to the 12 team. What's next in this evolution? What needs to happen, in your opinion, just to continue to see college football and the playoff landscape evolve in the best way possible?
Well, you're already hearing conversation about next year it going to 14 teams. If you don't think that it's going to 16 teams, I think that you're just sadly mistaken. And because of what, as I still call it, 1AA football, FCS football, you know what? I won't be surprised if it goes to 24 teams, to be perfectly honest with you. That's probably 8 to 10 years down the road, but we're a capitalist society. It is about making a profit. It is about making money. And believe me, the powers that be will want to make as much profit as they possibly can.
I think I'm most excited about the college football playoff because of these home game situations that you get to go on the road and play at some of these different places. Selfishly, very excited to go to Austin. Never been to, and I'm a Nebraska Big 12 era and never got to go to a game at Texas. But I think that's a really cool extra dynamic to the whole landscape of the playoff.
See, and I'm older than you because it was Big 8 when I was growing up as a kid, and Darrell Royal was still coaching there at Texas, so I'm even a little bit further back than that. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun to go to new places. You know, I always kid Coach Sweeney. Coach Sweeney had the opportunity a couple of years ago to go play in the Rose Bowl when Clemson was a #1 seed. I think it was in 2017. And he decided to go to the Sugar Bowl. He could have gone to the Rose Bowl because the #1 seed got the choice of where they wanted to go. Personally, really disappointed because I want to go to do a Rose Bowl. I've done every other thing other than a Rose Bowl, so really wanted to go to Pasadena and see what that was. But it's a lot of fun. This will be my first trip to Austin, just like you. I'm interested to see what it's all about. I'm interested to see how good the food is because we'll find good places to eat. That's guaranteed.
Yes, you will. You will find us good food. I know that's for sure. Last thought, just on Clemson, where they are right now as a program going into this college football playoff. We've seen them go through some ups and downs and come out on the upswing time and time again, whether it's been health, whether it's been the special teams saga that has played out these last couple of years, but we're seeing them continue to end on the right side of that coin this year. What do you make of them and their momentum going into the playoff?
Let's be really honest. Clemson's kind of the redheaded stepchild in all of this, all right? They're the punching boy because they're doing things the opposite way of the way that everybody else is doing it. And they've been there for a long time. And for whatever reason, Dabo Swinney has a tendency to get under people's skin. I don't know why, but he just does. And so I like that. You know why? Because usually a salty Dabo Swinney and a football team at Clemson that plays with a chip on their shoulder is a very dangerous commodity.
Well, we look forward to seeing it play out. Clemson taking on Texas in Texas for the first round of the college football playoff. That game on January 21st. Looking forward to bringing you all the action as we lead up to that big kickoff.